Hi. So I'm Minivan Lee, and I live in my minivan full time. Welcome to my minivan. If you're new to this channel, thank you for being here. Yeah, I've been a nomad for 4 years now. I live in my minivan. It's a Kia Sedona 2006, 174,000 miles, but it's going strong. Kias last a long time, and I take care of it. But thank you for coming here. Today, I'm going to talk about getting ill or injuring yourself while you're a nomad and how you can deal with it living in such a small space. I mean, I've had to deal with it, so I'll relay some of my experiences. But I do want to talk about the 4 major mishaps while you're traveling. And no, nomads really aren't traveling to, Spain and France and big world travelers, although some do, but most don't. We travel within the United States and within the States, and we travel in our rigs. But there are 4 areas where are most common for any traveler. And since we're nomads, yes, we do travel. And so the first one is diarrhea. Oh yeah. I've known a lot of people that get diarrhea while being a nomad. Second is sprained ankles, and it makes sense, but we'll talk about that. The third one is food poisoning, and that makes sense, especially for the world travelers. They are more prone to getting food poisoning while they're out traveling in restaurants in parts unknown. The fourth one is sore throat and coughing, getting a cold. And especially in the year of the COVID era, that can be a real touchy subject. Do you have COVID? You don't want to be out coughing in the COVID age. No, you don't. So we're going to talk about those 4 areas. And I'll relay some of my experience also, and people that I've met that have had some of these problems. And yes, you can do it while living in your rig. Another thing I want to ask you to do is please subscribe. Hit that subscribe button. If you want notifications, ring that little bell. And if you really want to help, you can watch all the way through. Give me a thumbs up. That's always a good thing also. But yeah, please subscribe. So with this whole video, as I'm discussing these things, I want you to be aware that if you think something is wrong, you need to go seek help. Go to urgent care or go to the hospital or call 911. Most nomads that I know have gotten diarrhea from time to time for whatever the reason. Not really food poisoning, but maybe they ate something and it just, didn't agree with them, and the body's trying to run it through quickly, so you get diarrhea. I mean, it can be very bothersome. You might not feel so bad, but you got to stay close to a bathroom. Another thing too that you need is to have a bathroom backup. A lot of nomads I know actually use regular bathrooms all the time. They use them. In the morning, they run to Walmart or they run into town if they're boondocking, but they use a regular bathroom when they go. But I think it's really good to have a backup, a bucket with some bags in it with a luggable loo for the toilet seat. Even if you don't use it on a regular basis, I think it's a good idea to keep one there because you might not be able to make it. You might not be able to actually rearrange your van so you can hop in the seat and drive somewhere to go to the bathroom. If you have diarrhea, it can be pretty quick. And you might actually maybe not feel good and you just want to kind of lay low for the morning until it kind of passes. So it's a good idea to have that. That way you don't have to keep running into Walmart or park in a place you don't want to park so it's so close to a bathroom. If you do parks, if you're in the city and you do parks like I do, you can park close to a park bathroom. And when you got to go, just run in and go. And then you can go back into your van or your rig and do what you need to do. If you have a Class A, B, or C, I mean, you'll probably already have a toilet inside if you use your toilet. There's some nomads that I've met in Class A or B or C's that don't actually use their toilets. No, they use their bathrooms and showers for maybe a storage room or something. They just really don't want to deal with the the black water issue. Gray water is like doing your dishes and laundry, but black water is using like toilets. Yeah. So your best bet would be get some anti-diarrheal, maybe have it handy if you're prone to getting diarrhea. Another thing too is to make sure that you drink lots of water. You're going to become dehydrated, so make sure when you have diarrhea to drink lots of water. But I have known just recently, two of my friends, I mean, when we were boondocking, each one in different times got diarrhea. You know, they were telling me, oh, it was horrible having to deal with this inside of my rig. Yeah, it's not fun. Yeah. Not as bad as food poisoning though. The worst is food poisoning, vomiting, and diarrhea. Oh, it's gonna put you behind bars for sure. So your best bet, if you're going to stay in your van, in your rig, is to have a bucket and bags ready to go. Yes, yes. You know, another thing you can do is rent a hotel room. If it's really bad, rent a hotel room. It's really, really bad, you're going to need to get to the urgent care. Food poisoning can happen, especially for nomads. We're out and about and we like to go out to eat. And I know a lot of nomads do go to restaurants on a regular basis for their food. You're going to have to get a sense of what that restaurant is all about. Look around and see how clean it is. Go on Google, get reviews of it. But even so, I mean, it can happen that a germ can grow inside of food and they serve it to you. So, but be careful because you can become dehydrated. If your liquids are coming out both ends, yeah, you can get dehydrated and it can be very serious. So urgent care might be needed if you have a really severe food poisoning. A sprained ankle. Running down this hill, whoops, I sprained my ankle. A sprained ankle is so easy to get when you are a traveler or you are boondocking or you're just a nomad. The 4 areas that are the most common for travelers, and I'm going to include nomads. No, we're not traveling in Paris or we're not going to, Thailand, things like that, but we are traveling and we're seeing different things and we're going to new places. That's the key, is going to a new place. But the main issues for travelers, the main boo-boos, number 1 is diarrhea. Yeah, diarrhea. Number 2 is a sprained ankle. So running down here, a sprained ankle. Boy, a sprained ankle, you don't even have to be running to get a sprained ankle. Sometimes you can just you go into a facility or a bathroom, it's got a little step up. Oops, you didn't see it because you're not used to it. You're traveling. This is a new thing for you. Another thing too, boondocking, is you can step on a rock and you can twist your ankle. Basically, a sprained ankle is going to occur when you're not familiar with the terrain. And it can happen so easy. So I suggest that get yourself a ankle brace. An ankle, like an ACE bandage that you can wrap up, just in case. They're lightweight, you can carry it with you and just put it away just in case, so you don't have to, if you do get a sprained ankle, that you can just go right to your rig and put it on. You know where it's at and you can put it on. And take some ibuprofen. I mean, I really do suggest that because it'll bring down any swelling right away. If you let the swelling take over, it's going to be painful and it might take longer to heal. So get ahead of the swelling. Now, I carry wrist braces, yeah, because my right wrist sometimes in the past has been weak. It's getting stronger. I'm really working on it, but it can sprain easy if I pull on something or I twist it in a funny way. So I carry 2 different kinds of wrist bandages. They're from Ace, and one of them won't, it's got something hard in here that won't let me bend it at all. That's for severe. And then another one just is a reminder, it won't let me bend it really far. So I keep a couple different kinds of those. Another one would be your knee. Maybe if you are prone to knee problems, carry a knee brace with you. That way, if you tweak your knee, because sometimes when you twist your ankle, you can also twist your knee. And so you have a knee brace if you're prone to that. So there's my suggestions for that little ditty there. If you do get sick or you injure yourself, not seriously, but if you injure yourself and you know that it's just going to take a little bit of time to kind of heal, like your sprained ankle or you have diarrhea, food poisoning might put you out for like a week. But you can do it. I mean, you can be in your minivan, you can be in your SUV, you can be in any rig, and you can heal yourself. Just because you're in a smaller area doesn't mean that, you can't get sick. I mean, you're going to get sick every once in a while. I have. But I do believe that there's an emergency kit that you can kind of carry with you, and I got a little list here. One is Imodium, and that would be for diarrhea. If you do get diarrhea, so that it's not severe, you can take it. And then it will help you also to retain some of your liquids, inside of your body. Don't become so dehydrated. Pepto-Bismol for upset stomach. Yeah, I haven't taken that in a long time. I should probably carry some of that with me. I think I will get some. Definitely ibuprofen. I carry ibuprofen. If I have any swelling or just sometimes I get tension in my shoulders bad. If I'm tense or I get stressed out, I take that and it really kind of like calms it down. To me, it's almost like a muscle relaxer. Some people take muscle relaxers or they get it prescribed to them. Those would be way too strong for me. I wouldn't be able to even like walk or stand. But so ibuprofen. Another one is Dayquil. If you have a sore throat or a cough, you want to stay in, especially in the COVID world. You don't want to be walking around coughing. And if you have a sore throat, you just want to like lay low until it goes away. I say take vitamin C. Just take vitamin C. Take the emergency, those little packets that I drink. And another thing too is have some vitamin C tablets and as a vitamin, and I would just start taking them. You do not OD on vitamin C. Oh, that's rhymes. You can't OD on a vitamin C. Every hour take a vitamin C pill and just flush out any virus, any germs that might be in your body. Now NyQuil will help you sleep, but there's something with NyQuil. You wouldn't be able to drive with it, or I wouldn't anyways. I would not be able to drive on NyQuil, so you'd have to take that at night, or if you know that you can stay put and you just want to sleep it off, NyQuil. And then I already talked about the ACE bandages for your, could be elbow, it could be your wrist, it could be your knee, it could be your ankle. If you're prone to that, or it might not even be a bad idea just to get them just in case and carry them. They're very lightweight, so it's not going to add weight to your rig. You don't want to be taken off the playing field being a nomad. You don't want anything serious to happen because it'll take you out of the game. So for prevention wise, you want to stay healthy. You want to exercise and keep all your joints and your muscles, your bones, everything, keep them pliable, be flexible. People who do not stretch are going to be more prone to hurting something. If it stretches too far, you step on a rock and it sort of twists. If your foot isn't used to, or your ankle isn't stretched out daily on a daily basis, I mean, it's going to be more tend to snap, and the muscle and the tendons are going to become distressed. And so you're not going to be able to walk as well, and you're going to be stuck inside of your rig. Yeah. Another thing too is, oh my goodness, number one is drink water. Drink water. You do not want to become dehydrated. It really puts a great strain on your whole system if it doesn't have enough liquids in it. your brain, your heart, your chest, your everything, your joints, they need to be hydrated. So drinking water is very, very important. Eating well, eating good foods. As talking about food, as a nomad, I know some of you said, "Ooh, you just eat the same things, or you don't really cook very much, and you're just eating, like apples and things." Well, I think instinctively my body wants to keep it simple. If I start eating a lot of different foods, it's just not going to feel good. It's for me, and it will take me out of the game. It's not like I have this huge house to kind of hunker down with. No, I have a smaller space, and if I don't feel good or I get sick, I'm kind of stuck in a small space, and that really isn't a lot of fun. I mean, I guess it can be fun for one day, but what if it goes on 2-3 days? No, it's it can be hard on a nomad if they don't feel well. So I like to feel well. That's one of the reasons I eat very, very simple. Another thing too is to take vitamins. Well, you see in the morning, I know if you've been watching my channel and you've seen me make coffee, we have coffee chats, things like that. I always have my vitamin, and then I take a emergency. I put it in a glass of water and I drink it, and I do that every morning. I like to keep the vitamins in there. I like to keep my immune system up. That way, if a germ or a bug or a virus gets inside, it doesn't have a chance. And by the way, I'd like to mention on this virus thing is that, I mean, every day of our lives, we come in contact with viruses of some sort, germs, bacteria that's grown. I mean, but when our immune system is up to par, when we have a superior immune system, they don't have a chance. But we come across viruses every day. They get in our system, and they just get killed. Our white blood cells in our immune system, they destroy it. If we have a low immune system, I mean, they're going to get through. They are, and they're going to multiply inside of us and clone themselves and grow, and then we're sick. So a really good immune system is really good. And then, of course, up here, be the captain up here. Meditate every day about how healthy you are. Your body will respond. I know some of you like, oh, there she goes again. But this is where my belief system is. And if yours isn't, I get it. But mine is. So I'm going to mention it for those of you who do enjoy hearing about that and being reminded that our mind does control a lot more than we give credit for usually. That, I'm talking to you. Yeah. My daughter, I was over there yesterday. She passed this on to me. Isn't it the cutest? Now over here we have, it's a pointer. She said she has another one. She gave me her trusted pointer. I love it. Yes. Over here. So I'll start using this. One of you mentioned I would make a great kindergarten teacher. I hope I don't sound like a kindergarten teacher. It's like talking to you like you're the lowest common denominator, like you're kindergarten children. But, everything we learned in kindergarten. So here's my pointer. It's got a little clip on it. Isn't this wonderful? I love it. There we go. Pointer. I have a video, and I'll leave a link to it. I should have my pointer out. I'll leave a link to it. About when I got appendicitis. These things happen. I mean, you never know when something's going to happen to you, and you could be a nomad, and it's going to be distressful for you. Well, I'll give you the short version of it because I do have a video where I talk about when I got appendicitis. I was in Courtside when I started feeling kind of bad, and I went to. There's kids playing on here. As soon as I came over here, the kids wanted to come over here. Nobody was over here before. So I went to Lake Havasu, and I was parked in a boondocking in a BLM area that had mountains all the way around me. So I wasn't getting any cell service. Well, I had a friend that was parked next to me, and it was around, I didn't feel good. It felt like I was coming up with a bladder infection. Well, I didn't feel good. Around 11:30, I felt so bad. I almost felt like I was trying to crawl out of my body. It was a very strange experience. Something I don't remember experiencing maybe when I was younger, but I literally felt, and almost, I was inside my van, and it was kind of weird. I think what I was doing is denying that something was seriously wrong, but I almost found myself crawling around, like I was like trying to crawl out of my own skin. And finally, I realized I can't deny this anymore. I'm in great pain. I don't feel well. So I knocked on my friend's rig window, and I said, I can't get cell service. Which way to the hospital? Do I turn right or do I turn left when I get to the road? And he says, oh my gosh, and I said, he goes, well, turn right. He goes, well, do you want me to go? I said, I got to go now. Sorry, I got to go now. And so I drove into Lake Havasu. As soon as I got somewhere inside the city, I turned on Google Maps, and then it led me because I could get cell service in there. So that's another issue. If you can get cell service and at least call out, at least you could call 911. I couldn't even call 911. So make sure you have cell service wherever you are. That's a serious issue, that you can't find anybody to help you. And had not a friend been beside me, I don't know what would have happened. I may have turned left and then instead of right when I got to the road. So anyway, so I did get there, and I can tell you the details. They didn't treat me very well there. I had a bad nurse. She was a traveling nurse, and she didn't give a crap about anything because she was just a traveling nurse. She had no investment in that actual hospital. And I was there 7 hours before they finally did a CAT scan and realized I had appendicitis. And of course, then they rushed me up. But I was in pain all that time. Now, but as a nomad, how did I recover? Well, I happen to be very healthy, and I just had a normal appendectomy where it was very simple. Had I not been in the best of shape, they may have had to do bigger incisions, and I may have been out for the count for 2 months. So, but I was prepared for that. In my mind, I was thinking, oh no, what happens if this doesn't go well, surgery? Well, here was my plan. I mean, I came up with it pretty quickly. I thought, well, I got my rig here. Here comes some ducks too. I thought, well, what I will do, let me bring my microphone closer. What I will do is I would call one of my children, the closest one, pay for a plane ticket to me, and then they could drive my rig to their house, and I could recover, and they could help me recover. Yeah, that would be my plan. So you have to get a plan. These things happen. Obviously, it happened to me. Yeah. My first time boondocking, and within 3 weeks, I was in the hospital with appendicitis. Now, there's another issue that I believe that I did have. I had a lot of stomach problems before that for almost 7 years. And I talk about that in my video if you want to watch the video. The doctor said that my appendicitis was really nasty, that he said it probably had been off and on getting infected over the years. And by the time he got to me, it was pretty bad. And he said he'd never seen anything that bad. So what it was doing is throwing poison into my system for all this time. But that's a whole nother story. But the problem is what are you going to do if it happens to you? And is there a solution for you? Get a plan. Get a plan. You want to have your family and friends. You want to have them available. If you don't have that, you want to have a good family, a friend network that you can call upon. Maybe buy them a ticket so they can get to you to get you back to where you can recover from a serious injury. Another thing too is to have a good savings account so that you can do that for them. I mean, if they want to go ahead and be such a great friend or family member that they're gonna just don't worry about it, I'll get myself there and then I can drive your rig back, because everything you own is in your rig and you don't want to just leave that behind and take off. That's your house. So These are issues you want to think about and you want to have a plan. So listen to your gut. Yes, listen to the little man inside on what could be going on. But treat yourself well, stay healthy, and have a plan. Have some savings in case something does happen. I mean, not to put a damper on anything, but you could also have a car accident where it hurts your back, or you sprain your neck, or you break your leg or something. These, just have a plan. Kind of have a plan. Sometimes the plan will come to you like it did me. The plan came to, I didn't have a plan before I got appendicitis, but through that I did come up with a plan. So that would have been my plan had things turned out worse. Now, as I recovered inside my van. The only restriction I had after surgery was don't lift anything over 20 pounds. I could walk. I could even go to the gym, he said, if you want to, but don't lift anything over 20 pounds. If it feels funny, be careful. Because I could have got, he said, if I'd done something or twisted a little bit worse, twisted it up or something, I could have got a hernia because the wall of my stomach where he went in was still healing and a little bit thin. Yeah, it still had to go back together. So I could have got a hernia, which would have sucked. Yeah. So when else have I gotten sick? Oh yeah. When I was working at Amazon in northern Kentucky near Cincinnati, I mean, I went home, I felt bad. I was a pit driver that day too, driving one of those powered industrial trucks, and you have to wear the harnesses, and when you have to go to the bathroom, you have to take that off every time. Oh yeah. So finally I just said, I'm going home, because I kept having to run to the bathroom. So what I did was I drove to a really secluded, it was one of the great parks in Hamilton County, but I drove to a really nice park. I'd been there before, and there were parts where it was nice and shaded and a little bit secluded. I mean, not so secluded. I wasn't isolated. It could have been dangerous, but I just kind of hunkered down. I got out my blanket, my pillows, and I just laid there. I literally slept all day. Well, I slept I went in and out, and I put on movies. Yeah. I did fine. You can feel bad inside of your rig. It's your home, and it's where you're comfortable. So, I mean, it can happen. There's been a couple other times where I didn't feel so well. My stomach kind of bothered me or something, and I just kind of hunkered down and stayed inside my van. If I was parked around friends, I would just let them know, say, hey, don't worry about me. I'm just going to go in my van. I don't feel too well. And yeah, I remember Reno once where I just said, something, I don't know, my stomach feels kind of funny. So I just went in my van for the day and I slept it off or watched movies and things like that. So yeah, one other time, I was working at Amazon. Yeah. It was the reason that I had to finally leave. Was I fell and I hurt my knee. Yeah, I whacked it bad. Yeah, there was somebody left on one of the conveyor belts. Somebody left out a brake, and they're long too. The brake, when you push the brake down, I mean, it's like this long, and you push it down, but somebody didn't push it down, and there were boxes falling all over because the conveyor belt wasn't like primed properly. So boxes, I didn't see it. I'm picking up boxes, and I went to walk in to pick up more boxes, and I tripped over the brake and went down on my left knee. And I knew, I just knew. I knew that, this feels funny. And yeah, so I was kind of taken out of the Amazon game in Kentucky over that. But, so what did I do? I mean, I was in my van. You know what I did? And I had not realized how much I used my knees, that I was on my knees kind of crawling out of my van because I couldn't do it. So then I had to like scoot in my van. I couldn't really crawl around on my knees. I had to like scoot on my butt and pull my leg. But you know what? I survived it. Oh yeah. And then it was shortly after that, it was almost completely healed by the time I left, and then came back to Arizona. So yeah, I've even injured my knee. Yeah, it healed completely. It healed within. It took a month and a half to almost completely, but I can still feel it every once in a while, like just a little bit. So I never said, oh, it's completely healed until I didn't feel a thing, and I haven't felt a thing since. So it's fine. But it's because when you see how active I am, and I keep myself stretched out. Had maybe I not even done that, stretched out or things, I mean, it may have taken months to actually heal my knees. So these things happen. So somebody had asked me, do you ever get sick inside of your van, and what do you do if you do? Well, these are my instances, and this is my advice for people who don't feel well. Probably the worst is food poisoning, and yes, people have gotten food poisoning while being a nomad, and you have to really take care of yourself. Drink water. So here's my advice for all of this. Urgent care. I mean, this is the era of COVID, so going into a hospital, a lot of people, oh, I don't want to go into a hospital. But if you don't feel well, your best bet is to go to urgent care. If you have food poisoning and you just don't feel as well, you might become dehydrated. Just go. I mean, most of you have, here comes some kids, most of you have insurance, so, and if you're older, you probably have Medicare, so go, get it taken care of. Any of the products that I might recommend, if you're allergic to them, do not take anything that you know you're allergic to or that you suspect that you're allergic to. These are only mere suggestions, things that I have used and things that I have done. But under no circumstances do them if you feel any danger in doing it. So use this all at your own discretion, at your own risk. So go out there and have fun and be safe, and don't get taken out of the game. You want to be out there having fun, because we know nomads spend at least 50%, probably more, time outside. Use my pointer. Outside. Yes. Oh, I love it. Fairy lights. Oh. Thank you so much for watching this video. You know, maybe you learned something. I'm sure that most of you already know the information, but it's always good to be reminded. I always say that. It's a good reminder that we need to be careful. One thing that I forgot to mention about spraining your ankle. I mean, it happens. I mean, seriously. I've known a lot of nomads that have sprained their ankles while they're out here. Go slower. Just watch what you're doing. If you're unfamiliar with the building or the terrain, the whole area, no matter what, take your time and watch what you're doing. Just go just a little bit slower. We do get excited when we see something new. We want to get there and we walk up to it. Another thing too is you really have to watch your shoes. Have shoes with really good tread on them. Like we buy good terrain tires for our vehicles so it can go over the rocks well and things like that. Well, it's the same thing with your shoes. Make sure that your tread is made for outdoors, whether it be hiking shoes or hiking sandals, things like that. So, yeah, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have a really good week ahead. And leave comments if you have any suggestions for new videos. I mean, somebody suggested this topic. They asked me a question, and I thought, yeah, this is something that we probably need to address again and come back into the forefront and remind everybody about it. So have a great week, you guys. Mwah. Bye.